Most developers trust whatever their app sends to the server. I almost did too on a kids app. 3 sign-in methods and 1 security gap. I almost missed across all of them. So let's get into it. Authentication for a kids app isn't just about login. It's a multi-layered system. One parent account that covers multiple child profiles, each with their own reading history, age, and preferences. Given that structure, one parent account, multiple children, the requirements fell into 3 categories. First, 3 sign-in methods: email and password, Google sign-in, and Apple sign-in. Apple is required by the App Store. If your app offers any third-party social login, you must also offer sign-in with Apple. There's no exception to that. Second, a single session token covering the entire account, all child profiles under it. That token is a JWT, a JSON Wave Token. It's issued by the backend after login, stored on the device, and sent with every request that needs the user identified. I'll get into exactly how that works in the session management section. Third is full child profile management. Create, switch, edit, and delete profiles without logging out. The app just remembers which child is active. The parent session never changes. The backend owns the authentication logic. The iOS app owns the experience, like the screens, the flows, the error handling. So let me walk you through how each piece works. Let's start with the most familiar method: email and password. You don't get in immediately after signing up. Email verification comes first. The app sends you a link, you click it, and only then can you log in. This is a standard practice because it proves you actually own the email address you signed up with. Here's what the backend does the moment someone signs up. It checks that the email address is in a valid format. The email also gets converted to lowercase before anything is saved, no matter how you typed it. At signup, the backend also validates the password. It needs to be at least 6 characters, include at least 1 letter and 1 number, with a maximum of 120 characters. When you sign up, your password gets hashed with bcrypt, which means even if someone compromises the database, they can't read your actual password. So now, what does hashing mean? It means you run the password through an algorithm, in this case bcrypt, and what comes out the other side is a completely unrecognizable string. Worth clarifying here is hashing is not the same as encryption. Encryption is two-way. You can decrypt it back. Hashing is one way. You cannot put the output back in and get the original password out. That's exactly what makes it the right choice for storing passwords. So what gets stored in the database is that hashed version, never your actual password. Strong passwords are practically impossible to crack even if the database is stolen, which is why you always hear the advice to keep your password strong. When you log in successfully, the backend issues a JWT, a JSON Wave Token. Think of it as a digital pass. It gets stored on your device in the keychain. Every time the app talks to the backend after that, like loading stories, switching profiles, it sends that pass along in the request. The backend reads it, verifies it's valid, and knows exactly who you are. No login in every time. That's how any app you use remembers you. Logging in is much simpler than registering. You enter your email and password. The backend finds your account by email, then uses bcrypt to hash the password you just typed and compare it to the hashed version already in the database. If they match and your email is verified, you are logged in. Rate limiting is also built into the backend. After 5 failed login attempts from the same IP address, that IP gets blocked from trying again for 15 minutes. Then we have forgot password. You enter your email, the backend generates a one-time token and emails you a reset link. That link expires in 1 hour, and once you click it, the token is deleted. You set your new password, the backend updates it, and you're back in. Next up is Google Sign-in. Of the 3, this was the one I knew the least about before building it. When the user taps Sign in with Google, they are taken to Google's own sign-in page. They authenticate directly with Google and get returned to the app. We never see their Google password. Google handles that entirely. The user just sees a button and then they are in the app. But here's what's actually happening behind that. The moment the user signs in with Google, Google hands our app the user's information, their email, display name, profile picture, and a special token called an ID token. Think of the ID token as a seal letter from Google. It says, I verified this person. Here's who they are. Our app takes that and sends it to the GiggleTales backend. The backend then goes back to Google and asks, did you actually send this? Google confirms it. The backend creates or finds a user's account, saves everything to the database, and issues a GiggleTales JWT to the user. The backend doesn't just trust what the app sends, it verifies with Google directly. I'll get into why that matters in the challenge section. One thing to add here is that Google already verified this user's email when they created their Google account. So we skip our own email verification entirely for Google sign-in users. They are auto-verified. Now, for this to work, there are few things to set up. First is the SDK itself. Google Sign-in doesn't come built into the iOS. You add it through Swift Package Manager in Xcode. Then Google needs to know your app is legitimate and where to redirect the user back after authentication. That's where the client ID comes in. You register your app in Google Cloud Console. Generate an OAuth client ID for iOS with your bundle ID. Google then gives you a configuration file, Google Service info.plist. It contains your client ID and a few other values the SDK needs. Drop it into your Xcode project and the SDK picks it up automatically. Then one more thing in info.plist is a custom URL scheme. It's a reverse client ID. This is what Google uses to redirect the user back to a specific app after they authenticate. Means that URL scheme and Google sign-in breaks. The user signs in on Google's page but never gets returned to your app. No useful error, nothing to point you in the right direction. It took me a while to figure that one out. Apple sign-in is required for any iOS app that offers third-party social login. That's the App Store rule. You offer Google sign-in, you must also offer sign-in with Apple. There's no exception to that. First thing to know here is you need a paid Apple developer account. That's $99 a year. No free tier for App Store submission or real device testing. It's an entry fee. Once you have the account, the setup has two parts and you have to do both. First is the Apple Developer Portal. Find your app ID, the record Apple keeps for your specific app. Go into its capabilities and enable sign-in with Apple. Second is Xcode. Go into Signing and Capabilities tab, hit the plus button, add the capability there too. When you add it in Xcode, it auto-generates a file called giggletails.entitlements. That's the proof your app is approved to use this feature. I'll come back to what happens when you only do one of those two steps in the challenges section. On the iOS code side, it's actually the simplest of the three methods. SwiftUI has a built-in sign in with Apple button component. Drop it in, it handles the entire UI, the system sheet, light and dark mode, all of it. When the user authenticates, Apple returns an identity token along with the user's name and email. Here's the thing about that name and email. Apple only sends them once, the very first time a user signs in. Every sign in after that, Apple sends nothing. No name, no email, just the token and the Apple user ID. So if you don't save the name and email immediately on that first sign in, they're gone. There's no API to retrieve them later. That's an Apple design decision, and it's one of those things you only find out when you're building it. The identity token gets sent to the backend along with whatever name and email Apple provided on the sign-in. On the backend, the verification works the same way as Google. The identity token gets verified with Apple. The user account is created or found and a GiggleTales JWT is issued. One Apple specific detail worth mentioning here is hide my email. When users sign in with Apple, they can choose to share their real email or hide it. If they hide it, Apple generates a private relay address. The backend stores whatever email Apple provides. For apps that send marketing emails or rely on email to reach users, this could be a problem. But for GiggleTales, we identify users by their Apple ID, not their email, so it doesn't affect us. Then we have multi-profile. Under one parent account, the user can add multiple child profiles. Profile switching requires no re-authentication. The parent's JWT covers the entire account. When the parent signs in and authenticates, GiggleTales issues them a JWT, as mentioned earlier. That token belongs to the parent account. It stays the same across all child profiles under that account. Switching between children doesn't change it. Each child profile is stored in MongoDB under that parent account. Their name, avatar, age, and reading level. When the parent switches profiles, The app loads that child's data from local cache instantly and syncs with the backend in the background. Creating, editing, and deleting profiles all syncs to the backend in real time. The first profile you create automatically becomes the active one. And if you add a child profile on one device, it shows up on all your other devices as well. So next is session management. What happens after the user is logged in? When you log in, GiggleTales gives you a JWT, a session token. Think of it as a digital ID card for your account, stored securely on your device. Every time the app needs to do something user specific, like saving progress, syncing a profile, it sends that ID card along with the request. Backend receives it, checks if it's valid, and knows exactly who is asking. If not, request is blocked. Next time you open the app, it looks for that saved token in the keychain. If it's still valid, no login is needed. You go straight in. The token expires after 7 days, but in practice, users don't actually get logged out because the app also saves your profile on your device. So when you open the app, it finds that saved profile and brings you straight back in. One thing worth calling out is that the JWT and the static API key do very different jobs. The JWT is identity. It tells the backend who you are, which user, which account. The story content endpoints like fetching lists, loading a story use a separate static API key. When a parent deletes their account, everything goes with it, like user record, child profiles, activity history, all data removed from the database. Now let's talk about some challenges I faced while working on authentication. Challenge 1 was Google backend verification. When I built first Google Sign-In, Google verified the user on the UI side. So my app trusted it and sent the Google ID straight to the backend. And the backend with no verification of its own saved it, trusting whatever my app sent. But here's the problem. My backend is a server running on the internet with a URL anyone can find. And anyone can send requests to it directly without even opening the app. So someone could skip the app entirely, send any Google ID they want, and the backend would let them straight in as that user. The fix for this was instead of sending just the Google ID, the app now sends the full ID token, a package Google issues and signs with its own private key after authentication. Anyone can type a random Google ID. There's no way to verify it's real. But the ID token, you can't fake that. The backend calls Google directly and asks, did you actually issue this token? Google says yes or no. Only if yes does the backend proceed. Before this fix, the backend was trusting a plain string with no proof. After the fix, it verifies a token that Google itself signs and guarantees. The ID token is signed by Google's private key. It can't be faked. This is the kind of gap that's easy to miss when you're building for the first time. The UI looked fine, the app worked, but the backend was trusting anyone who showed up. Then the challenge 2 was Apple Developer Portal. Earlier I mentioned you have to enable sign-in with Apple in 2 places, the Developer Portal and Xcode. I missed the portal step. I built the app, tapped sign in with Apple, got an error without no explanation. I had to go back through the docs to figure it out. Adding the capability in Xcode alone isn't enough. You have to enable it in the developer portal as well for Apple Sign-In to actually work. So if you're building this for the first time, do both from the start. So that's the authentication for GiggleTales. 3 sign-in methods, JWT session management, multi-profile without re-authentication, keychain storage, and server-side token verification. Next up is Apple Store submission, what the review process actually looked like from the inside, what got flagged and what passed. If you enjoyed this video, share it with a friend who is building something similar. And if you have any questions about authentication or if you have faced your own challenges adding auth to an app, drop them in the comments below. I would love to know what you ran into. So that's it for this one. See you guys in the next one. Until then, bye bye.